Good morning, everybody. We're going to start our prep for Monday, November 18th. Are you ready for an action-packed week with NVDA earnings on Wednesday after the bell? This is always one of my favorite trading days each quarter, as there are always clear signs of what the proverbial day will do. So let's get to it here. If we review Friday, we opened gap down and we ended up trading into the gap from the election night. And we mentioned on Friday that if we lost the bid at 59.27 to 22, we were looking for downside. And then that 82 to 72 is where we had the next bid from the commercial side of the market. And that's exactly what happened. We lost the bid, made our move down. We talked about the cleaner short under 59.30 would be at 59.12, 10 area. And that's exactly where the better trade was. So hopefully many of you caught that trade. The market did move nicely, consistently down before then, after hitting that bid, moving straight back up. And in the overnight session here, we have made a push higher over Friday's point of control and just a nice distribution move into just an hour before London's open. And then we reverted back down, still holding that point of control from Friday, which tells us that there's still an agenda at play and a product that the commercials are trying to protect, at least in the most short term. From a positioning standpoint, our long-term commercials are short based off the COT, and that report is out on YouTube as well. Short-term market makers are in risk-absorbing mode, which will likely change ahead of our catalyst this week. Today's pretty light from a catalyst standpoint, with the bigger catalysts on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday's NVIDIA earnings after the bell. Thursday, we have jobless claims. And Friday, we have consumer sentiment. Longs from the election overall here are still in the money. Monday, Tuesday, and then that move up. But if they, anytime after the election, are underwater and struggling, and any shorts from last week are profitable at this point, and this push and pull this week will likely come to an end on Wednesdays, and NVIDIA will give the market its direction ahead of the holiday week. From our flow standpoint here, we mentioned market makers are in risk absorbing mode, so that gives us the potential for an outside move in the markets. We don't have much of a support bid from our mechanicals that we watch. 58.83 to 59.11 is the only area that they are lightly buying, and that is less than $100 million. So it's not very much in the grand scheme. The bigger risks on this side is under 58.54. We bring in $6 billion or $5.5 billion in selling. And over 59.40, we will also run into that same $5.5 billion on the upside. And those offers are already sitting there. So that leads to a little more fire on the downside and more resistance there on the up move. And that changes as we'll monitor throughout the day as well as day to day. But that's what we're going to be watching closely. Fund managers have deployed most of their capital, with just about 8% still sitting on the sidelines. So that gives us a little bit of room for some more flows to come into the market, but it also limits us a little bit for the short term. 58.54 is our critical level that early in the week we could breach it. But that will be getting close to our downside edge. And this is one of the trades that typically turns into a more face-ripping style rally. So we'll be watching for signs of that this week as well if we make our move lower. The big breadcrumbs we're going to watch are with funds and traders underinsured for the week as we head into NVIDIA here. We'll watch for that to come into the market and see that downward pressure coming in. If they are still underinsured on the catalyst, then that will signal more downside as possible as the tail risk. Same thing we saw last Thursday. If they're overinsured, then that would put a big support in the market, which is what we've seen in the past for this event. So that's the big breadcrumb that we're going to be watching. And we'll watch for that to show up early in the week, more likely on Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll also watch for market makers to get out of risk absorbing mode in the coming days. That's usually what their agenda is ahead of a major catalyst. And for those that know how to prepare for this, be sure to watch your indicators closely. Today's plan. So we're going to look for rotational price between 58.63 and 59.10 with our pivot at this 58.83. If we get under 58.63 here below our rotational level, then we'll look for a target of 58.35. Otherwise, holding this 58.63, we'll look for a move back into the 58.83 pivot up to that 59.10. And if we get over 59.10, we are going to look for a long up to 59.40. And that's also where we will start looking for that $5.5 billion in offers to give us a short signal. So that's our plan for the day. Hope you guys are prepared. And if there's anything that you'd like to see for any of our subscribers, any other instruments, please let me know, and I'm happy to post those for you in the room. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great day and safe trading out there.